Greetings to you today. It is Monday morning, the 21st of July, and I'm excited about sharing a little bit of time with you this morning. This has been kind of an interesting week, and I'd like to share with you a case study of my own, if you don't mind. This will be a little different than most case studies that you've been posting online, and then you've been dominantly just responding and interacting with each other about those case studies. And let's share with you a real-life case study that has happened in my life over the last about 10 days. So I posted before that I had spent last week in Wilmore teaching the Doctor of Ministry program with the Beeson Center. We had a great week. All kinds of things were exciting and good and very, very positive kind of experience. But about 2 days before I left to go to Wilmore, we had an interesting event that happened at the church that I'd like to share with you. We had 2 police officers from our local police department who stopped by the church to drop in on our preschool to inform us that an allegation of sexual abuse had been filed against one of our preschool teachers. Now, I don't know if you have faced situations or circumstances where members of your staff team or some kind of situation has arisen where you've had really intensely difficult situations to deal with. And you have to deal with them almost immediately from the very start, from the very first moment. You have to know the appropriate steps that you're going to take. And so if you have not yet dealt with some kind of misconduct issue, it doesn't have to be sexual abuse, but some kind of misconduct issue that requires action on your part or action on part of the team that you serve on, it'd be a very helpful process for you to stop and think about that and to take a look at your polity. You're all going to have different kinds of denominational polity about fair process and process systems that are in place already that you need to address. You should know those. You should have those kind of ingrained in your heart. And it's a good idea to be able to pre-think situations and your response to those situations. And so what would you do? 2 police officers show up and announce that there's been an allegation of sexual misconduct filed against a member of your staff. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I've been through this before. Once with that youth pastor who was sexually addicted, who was designing mission trips for our youth based on known prostitution connections. And once with an associate staff member who likewise had some difficulties with boundaries and sexuality issues. Both of those people, by the way, were Asbury Seminary colleagues. Both of them were folks who were trained in the seminary and who would profess a strong Wesleyan theology. So you're not immune because you are connected to an Asbury community. You're only immune if the Spirit of God is working in you and you are moving forward on a pace of deep and lasting integrity. Well, for us, we knew the first step was pretty clear. The teacher must be suspended. It's not a matter of guilt or innocence. It's simply a matter of protocol. The teacher must be suspended. And we enter into a spirit of full cooperation with the police department, with the investigative process, because we want prayerfully to know that every step has been taken to be able to resolve this issue. Prayer is an essential element. Prayer is not going to be a part of your polity, but prayer is an essential element to the way that you will pastorally approach this. Praying for the person who's been accused, praying for the people sometimes who are unknown, who are the accusers, praying for the situation, circumstance, praying for the congregation, praying for the people who are going to have to deal with this, praying for the investigators, deeply invested in a spirit of prayer. And then an essential element is to post or to assign a person who is going to be the key person for the continuation of the conversation. They're going to be the person who's going to communicate. They're going to be the person who is going to direct their attention to the media, should the media arrive, and quite often media will arrive. The newspaper, television will show up at your doorstep as soon as they hear that some kind of allegation has happened in the life of a church. They're likely to be present, and you need someone who has thought through a statement that will be clear and concise and will say exactly what you know, but nothing more than what you know without any assumptions about any kind of guilt, innocence, but the fact that we are deeply concerned about the safety of children, the safety of youth, the safety of people in the life of the congregation. We take steps all the time to be able to create safe places and safe sanctuary. We move forward with processes and systems that allow for people to be connected together so that no one is isolated or alone. And we're fully cooperating with this process. Now, I don't know the outcome yet, but I do know that there's a great deal of legal conversation that's going on. There's a great deal of investigative process. Our staff team has all been interviewed. Our attorneys, both from our insurance company and from our annual conference, have both been actively involved and are deeply supportive. Your role in this whole process might be unique as a member of the staff or maybe as the leader of the team, where you will need to know due process. Take a look at your polity for your denomination, for your connection, and identify what are the steps of fair process. And that will be a case study that will make a difference in your life. I pray that you never have to use that information that you have stockpiled in your system. But unfortunately, you might have to. There was a really remarkable research study, a leadership study done by Dr. Robert Clinton at Fuller Theological Seminary in the early 90s. It's been lasting ever since then. He took a look at leadership across the boards, business leadership, nonprofit leadership, church leadership, and he discovered something very interesting. He discovered that 70% of once effective leaders will tend to finish poorly. 70% of once effective leaders will tend to finish poorly. 70% is a big number. A big, big number. Look around you and see if you think that 70% is an accurate number. 70% of once effective leaders will finish poorly. He said there's some reasons for that. They lose their learning posture. They fail to continue to learn and grow and discover. They fail to make a lasting, significant impact on the world. They lose a relationship with God. So we want to dig deep and we want to say, even though we think that 70% is pretty big, what would be an acceptable number? Would 60% be okay? Or 50%? Or 40%? What do you think? Would that be okay? Is there an appropriate number of people that we would think would likely finish poorly from a leadership strategy? No. We want to finish strong. To finish strong means that you need to think ahead about the things that happen in your life and in your journey. And I pray that God will bless you this day and you'll take some time to be able to explore, because you never know when someone's going to stop by and say, you have a problem. And when that happens, you'll have to deal with it. And you want it to be good, strong, and resolution might be at hand. Pray God's blessing upon you. Thanks for your case studies. Continue in your reading. We're going to have some postings about our readings for the course. So continue postings. We'll be inviting you to write a one-page synopsis summary of the key learnings that you discovered from each of your readings. So you might want to take a look at that assignment and just get a head start on that. A one-page summary of the key learnings that you discovered, things that stood out for you, things that were essential or important out of readings where, like if you read When Helping Hurts, you know that there are a number of things that are going to speak to you about your situation or circumstance or some kind of future event. Find one element that you think is primary in that ingredient, and we'll give you more detail online. For right now, the Lord bless you and keep you. I pray that this is a great day for you, a wonderful week. Looking forward to reading more of your case studies, and let's continue to share together. God bless you all. Have a great day.